we have a treat for you. In this video, I'm going to show you how we built a cinematic MMA fight promo, the full breakdown. This entire fight promo started with a whiteboard and an idea. What you're seeing here took days of planning, hours of filming, multiple software programs, and a lot of problem solving. So today I am going to take you behind the scenes from concept to final cut. And I'm gonna break this down in 2 steps. So we're gonna start with step 1, and that was the idea and the why. The goal was simple, but it was not easy. I didn't want a standard fight promo. I wanted something cinematic, dark, epic, and story-driven. Something that felt bigger than a normal MMA video. And when you want to pull something like that off, you don't start with the camera. So once I had the idea and the goal in my mind of what I wanted to achieve, we moved to step 2. And step 2 was writing the story before the shots. Before I drew a single frame, I had to write the story. This wasn't just a fight promo, it needed a narrative. I wrote a script built around battle, perseverance, pressure, and return. A fighter who's been through doubt, through loss, and chosen to step back into the cage anyway. The script set the emotional spine of the entire project. Every shot, every punch, every moment had to serve the story, not just look cool. This was what dictated the pacing, the tone, the intensity, and where the big moments needed to land. If the story didn't work on paper, it wouldn't work on screen. Now that I had the script, we were ready to move to step 3. That was storyboarding on the whiteboard. I started by drawing every major scene on the whiteboard. Now these were not pretty drawings, but they were functional. Each sketch answered 3 questions. What's the moment? What's the camera angle? And what's the emotion I want to portray? If a shot didn't move the story forward, it didn't make the board. Then on to step number 4, using AI to visualize the film. Once the sketches were done, I photographed each one and dropped them into AI. The AI program I used was ChatGPT, if you're wondering or interested. This step is huge. AI let me preview lighting, mood, depth, and composition before filming. It turns my ideas into something your brain and your team can actually see. This becomes my visual blueprint for the entire shoot. So I could now finally start step 5, and that was the fight choreography. My assistant, Yurimi, who was my opponent in this shoot, we spent about 1 to 2 hours working out choreography. But here's the key difference between a real fight and a filmed fighting scene. It's about angles, not damage. We choreographed moments that look powerful on the camera, that matched the storyboard that I created, and left room to do VFX later on in post-production. So now that we have our key choreographed moments locked in, it's time to start step 6. And that was the pre-production planning. With the storyboard locked, I planned the shoot like a film set. I worked out lighting setups, camera positions, lens choices, and the way I was gonna shoot in the order. Plus, figuring out how long it would take me per scene. We only had about 2 to 3 hours to film, so guessing was not optional. Then came step 7, which was shoot night. We set up the lights, cameras, atmosphere, so smoke, backlight, hard shadows. We focused on hitting the storyboard shots first, then grabbed extra coverage like different angles and distances for each main shot. Did we get everything I wanted? No. Realistically, I needed another 2 hours. But we were on a tight window and the crew was helping me out for free. So we adapted, and that is filmmaking. Now before editing, I recorded the voiceover.
I didn't come back to prove them wrong. I came back to prove myself right.
This step is underrated. Recording the voiceover early lets the story guide the edit. Instead of trying to force the narrative later, cut all your videos and try and put that in after, it gives the video rhythm before visuals are even locked in. Then I jumped into Premiere Pro for step 9. The first pass is always the rough cut. That's what we call it when we smash everything together. No music, no sound effects, no VFX. Just story, pacing, and flow. If it doesn't work while it's silent, no sound at all, it won't work loud. So once the structure was solid, I exported the clips I needed into After Effects for the next step. This is where things get really epic and fun. Blood bursts, shock waves, energy bursts, and ground destruction. Each VFX shot gets rendered and sent back into Premiere Pro, and then we move on where everything really starts coming to life, and that is adding sound design and music. Sound is half the experience. I layered punch impacts, body hits, breathing, atmosphere. Then I added music and tightened cuts so everything lands on the beat. Each sound effect, music choice, and placement is designed to enhance the experience of the viewer. Now, I also wanted to show my editing system or my Premiere Pro project. This isn't really a step, but it just gives you a little bit more insight into how I work. This helps you stay organized. I color code everything. Yellow is voiceovers, blue is B-roll, lavender needs VFX, purple means I've done the VFX and that's in there. And then I have orange, which means something else needs to be done there, whether it's VFX, whether it needs tightening, need to change out a clip, something needs to be done there, so that is orange. This system saves you hours, especially on complex edits. Now, here's another thing I want to go over, which is the timeline reality check. So let's look at the timeline for this project. This part is important. This entire project was done without client reviews, feedback rounds, formal meetings, or extended rehearsal times. This was a tight, controlled production. So let's actually break this down. I spent 1 to 2 days in concept and storyboard, 1 to 2 hours on the fight choreography, 3.5 hours on filming, and then 3 days on editing, VFX, sound, and music. All for a video that's only a couple of minutes long. But here is the real reality. If this was a high-end commercial production with client approvals, planning meetings, long filming days, and proper choreography rehearsals, you could easily multiply this timeline by 3. And that would mean a larger crew, minimum 3 team members plus your actors, more prep time, more shoot days, and that would create a more polished product at the end of the day. And that's the difference between a fast, lean production and a fully scaled premium one. The last step we have is review and feedback process. Now, we didn't get to do a group premiere for this one. Instead, I sent the final cut out individually to my team, and that was intentional. Fresh eyes matter. When you've stared at a project for days, sometimes weeks, you start missing things. Small timing issues, tiny details, moments that could hit harder. Getting external feedback helps catch what you can't see anymore. And that final polish is often what separates good from great. And my team came back with some great advice, which I implemented into the final cut. So this is what goes into a cinematic fight promo. Not just cameras, but planning, storytelling, sound, VFX, and problem solving. If you want more breakdowns like this, hit that subscribe button and like this video, and comment what idea you want me to create and tear apart next. Until the next one, see you later. They don't see the nights I question everything. They only see the highlights, never the cost. Pain doesn't scare me. I've lived with it. Doubt doesn't stop me. I've beaten it. This isn't a comeback. This is a continuation. Every scar earned, every loss studied, every second respected. I didn't come back to prove them wrong. I came back to prove myself right. Because discipline built me, failure shaped me, and pressure made me dangerous. I don't fight for noise, I fight for legacy. I'm not returning to the cage is returning to me.